Welcome back to another episode of Business Highlight, a show by the Boca Raton Tribune. In Business Highlight, we talk to local companies and nonprofits about what they do to for the community and things like that. So if you want to make sure to follow our show, head over to bocatribune.tv, click subscribe. You'll see all the latest videos that we have on there. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with Annabel Russell, the executive director of the Symphonia. Annabel, thank you for joining us. How are you?
Thank you so much for having me, and I'm just great. Thank you, especially after a 3-day weekend.
Right? Yeah, it's great. It's great to come back after a 3-day weekend. So, for those that don't know who you are, why don't you just start off by introducing yourself?
So the Symphonia, that's our doing business as name, was born as just about 17 years ago in 2004 here in Boca Raton as the Boca Raton Philharmonic Symphonia Inc. That's a big mouthful when you're answering the phone. So over the years, we've gradually changed the name. The product is the same, but we're now known as the Symphonia. Mm-hmm. We've been doing business, as I said, in Boca Raton and the local area for the past just going on 17 years. And we have become recognized as South Florida's premier chamber orchestra.
Mm-hmm. And so for those that might not know, what kind of events does the Symphonia do? Or what have you guys have you done in the past that maybe some of our listeners might be aware of?
So since our inception, we have had a Sunday afternoon series during the seasons, usually starting in November or December, and going through to the end of March, early April. Mm-hmm. And that consists of a Sunday matinee at our home theater at the Roberts Theater, which is based at St. Andrew's School.
Right.
And that is and that was under the name of the Connoisseur Concert Series. And that's been our core program. In addition to that, we have related programs that are connected to that concert, both for youth, for children, and for our constituents. We have a box lunch program in which concert attendees can come and sit in on a dress rehearsal, which is a really intimate thing to do. Mm-hmm. They sit behind the orchestra, facing the conductor so that they can hear the corrections as he or she fine-tunes the orchestra for the concert performance. And that is followed with a very informal box lunch with the conductor and our musicians. So that's a lovely program. In addition to that, we have a program for children and their parents or grandparents called Meet the Orchestra.
Right.
And that takes place while the Symphonia is playing its dress rehearsal in the theater. So the kids get to come in to the lobby of the theater where there's a structured program for them. Mm-hmm. And they get to learn a little bit about what makes up an orchestra and what goes on. And they then go into the rehearsal and they have like 20 minutes to sit and watch and listen to the orchestra playing. And then they come back out into the lobby where they have an instrument petting zoo. And that's when it really starts getting noisy. And yeah, I'll tell you what, the parents and the grandparents have just as much fun.
Yeah, that seems like that seems awesome.
Yes.
Do you guys do any events at the amphitheater in Boca as well?
Yes, we do. We are the orchestra that plays for the Festival of the Arts Boca.
That's right.
During their 10-day festival down there, which is it's the most wonderful event, and it's so exciting that Boca can host such a wonderful event in its midst once a year. Yeah. We also play with the City of Boca for their summer series down at the amphitheater. Mm-hmm. And we've done various other performances there as well with the Youth Orchestra of Palm Beach County. And we presented initially in our first 2 years, we had a summer series going on down there that was funded by the Countess de Hernley and Madeline Saverick.
Yeah. No, go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say the other thing that we do is community outreach.
Right.
Which is very important. It's very important to reach those underserved people, whether they're youth or adults. Mm-hmm. And give them access to music. We run a program at the Delray Beach Boys and Girls Club for underserved youth.
Yeah.
And I have to say, and that's a very successful program. which we get funding for from various different foundations and generous local philanthropists.
Mm-hmm.
And during this last terrible few months, we were able to keep the program going. And in fact, the kids just gave their first live in-person recital last week. So that was just fantastic.
That's great. I'm not going to just say this because you're on the show, but one of my favorite events for the last 2 years, not counting this one, was going to the Festival of the Arts and watching the Symphonia play the Star Wars movies. Like, that's really cool. It was like it was literally one of my favorite moments of 2020. Like right before everything shut down, like that week right before.
Yeah,
like, this is the coolest thing I have ever seen. And so, yeah, I'm not just saying that because you're on. I tell everybody, like, guys, listen, the coolest thing I've ever done is just sit through a movie and watch the score be played by a live orchestra. Like, it's probably one of the most surreal experiences. So just so you know, you guys are doing something awesome.
It is really cool. It is fantastic. And you kind of you kind of forget the orchestra's there, and yet you don't, because it's so fantastic. But to be able to sit there, and we've done several different movies there, apart from we've done 2 Star Wars movies and E.T. That was really awesome.
Oh, yeah, some of those.
Yeah, we started off doing what was the first one we did? The Wizard of Oz.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Yeah.
There's so many. It's because because I'm a band person back in high school, so I know a lot about music, and so a lot of people don't realize how important music is to a movie. So they go, they don't think that every single like sound behind the scenes is actually important. So it's really cool to see an actual live orchestra do it, because it's kind of just it literally feels like a movie.
Yeah.
But it's a live or it's just phenomenal. But so tell us a little bit about yourself. How long have you been the executive director of the Symphonia?
I've been with the Symphonia since its inception.
Oh, wow.
2004, yes. And I started off as an administrator and gradually worked up. And it feels like I can't remember when I became executive director. But I have been here since day one, yes. And it's been a fantastic trip, growing this orchestra to the level that it now has reached in the community, and is recognized throughout the nation and in the musical world, as a very fine chamber orchestra. So that's fantastic. And we have a tremendous what I want to say. We have a tremendous return in that most people who subscribe to us stay with us forever until they either get too sick to attend anymore or they pass on.
Right.
So many of our subscribers I've known for 16 years now, because they come back year over year. So I think that says a lot.
For sure.
Our subscriber and our donor base is very faithful and very consistent. And right now, though, we are planning different types of concerts to try and increase and broaden and diversify our audience, because that's very important going forward, and making our concerts accessible to those people who might not otherwise be able to come, either for financial reasons or physical disabilities. We are in the process of forming partnerships with Boca Helping Hands.
Wow.
And inviting their families actually to come to our dress rehearsals, to give them seats to come in and listen.
That's awesome.
And we are also talking with the JCC for their special needs group. They have a Sunday group that we have invited to come to the concerts. And they will have free tickets, obviously, to come and enjoy our music. That's, very important. And, because of what we've just been through over the last 14 or 15 months, I think it's brought a lot more awareness of how we need to do more for the community.
Yeah.
And, we've always been very open. We've always tried to reach out and be inclusive. But somehow the past year has made that even sort of more urgent. And, we very much feel that we need to do more and just try to be more part of the community. So it was a sort of wake-up call on so many different levels.
Right.
What's just happened to us,
Yeah, for sure.
So, lots of new things happening. We've developed also a nighttime series called New Directions, which again, the programming has been designed to appeal to a much broader, younger, and more diverse audience. It has interaction with the audience. There are visuals, there's dialogue, and it kind of makes the classical thing more accessible for people who might not otherwise feel that they want to just go to a classical concert.
Yeah.
So it's a new way to discover how cool classical music is.
That's true. You know? So tell us about some of the programs that you guys are working on for June and beyond. I know you guys have something going on specifically this month, but I'm wondering too, like what are you guys' plan for the rest of the year?
Okay, so we are going to be having a concert on June the 13th at 2 a.m. at the Boca Raton Marriott. Why the Boca Raton Marriott? Well, thanks to COVID, we were shut out of our theater, as everybody was. Our tale is no different from all the other arts organizations. But once we were into the shutdown and we sort of got out of the court, you know, like deer's caught in the headlights, kind of few weeks while we tried to reassess and figure out how we were going to manage, I went looking for a venue where we could perform COVID safe, if I can say that, live performances. And I found at the Boca Raton Marriott a large ballroom of over 5,000 square feet. And after doing some measurements, we figured we could get a small chamber group of approximately 40 musicians and a conductor and approximately 90 to 100 audience members, all socially distanced and safe. And so we started that series in December 2020, and we had another one in February, another one in May, and now we've got probably our last one there at the Marriott, maybe, but never say never, because everything can change, on June the 13th. And that's a really exciting program. Each of these concerts at the Marriott has been led by the Symphonia's principal conductor and artistic advisor, Alistair Willis. And he will be coming back and joining us in June for a wonderful program featuring 6 amazing composers. Jessie Montgomery will be playing her composition Starburst. William Grant Still will be playing his Danzas de Panama. Gerald Finzi, Colin Jacobson, and Siamak Agai, composers of Ascending Bird, and I really apologize because I probably really mispronounced that. And we'll be playing also Benjamin Britten's Simple Symphony. So, you know, we run for a little over an hour without any intermission, so we can save socializing during an intermission.
Yeah, for sure.
And these concerts have been amazingly successful. People have got, at the first one, we had people crying. They were just so excited to be back in a live music environment. So this is all very exciting. We're going to have a full house on Sunday the 13th. I think we still do have a few tickets. And if we get an overwhelming demand in the next week, we can probably do another concert as well. In May, we did 2. We did one at 2 and one at 5.
And where can the people get the tickets? Is it your website?
Well, at the moment, they can go and get information about the program on our website, but they need to call the Symphonia office. The phone number is 561-376-3848. Because one of the things we're doing right now is we are upgrading our online ticket purchase system. So it's hard for people to purchase online. They need to call the office.
Got it.
And that will be up and running, our new program, as we announce. We're just about announcing our 21-22 concert season.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's very exciting. And hopefully we'll be back at the Roberts Theatre, our home theatre, for the concerts, opening on December the 5th. So we're all, everybody's fingers crossed for that.
That's awesome. Yeah. So let's jump in a little bit to, you know, you've been with the Symphonia for as long as they've been around. Is there like a 1 or 2 moments that like stand out to you as some of like your most memorable moments as part of the Symphonia?
Wow. Gosh, you know, that's a trick question in a way, because every season has something exciting that happens in it.
Right.
I think right now our focus is so on what we've just been through,
Right.
and we've survived. We're here.
Mm-hmm.
I
No, for
find
sure.
that's real triumph over
Mm-hmm.
adversity. You know, we've had so many memorable seasons. But really now I feel like I've just been through the battle of a lifetime.
Right.
You know, when the pandemic hit and nobody knew what was going to happen, and we hunkered down with my board of directors and our principal conductor, Alistair Willis, and had to just try and figure out how to make this work and survive and stay alive. And really, it's been a year of grant writing, fundraising, reconfiguring ourselves, reconfiguring how we're going to go forward, and coming up with a new season. So that's just sort of so in my head right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. So I mean, going off of that, how did COVID-19 affect the Symphonia last year, and what were some of the ways that you guys were able to pivot from what you thought was going to happen to the actual reality and actually make some lemonade out of those lemons?
Right. Well, we were fortunate, I will have to say, that the shutdown came at the latter end of our concert season.
Okay.
So we had to cancel our final concert of the season and all the programming that was attached to it. And we had to sadly cancel a big program that we were planning for our boys and girls program, building a string orchestra and self-esteem, and a big fundraiser around that. So that had to go, but it was at the end. So, if there was ever a silver lining, that was sort of it. We took a deep breath and a few weeks to think and try to pivot quickly. We had not been doing much on social media, on Facebook, but we quickly developed an online program, a live streaming program on Facebook called Symphonia at Home. And we reached out to all of our musicians and invited them to create home movies of how they were coping with COVID at home, how they were still practicing their craft in their apartments, in their houses, what they were doing to keep busy. And we got some really wonderful pieces out of that. And we ran that. Yeah, that was really a lot of fun. We ran one a week for several months. And it was a great way to stay connected with our constituents. We let everybody know, so that once a week, Symphonia at Home on Thursday at 5:00. And so we developed a little following with that. And we created a few other programs of that sort to stay connected. I think that the overriding feeling that we had that was most important to do was to stay connected with those people and let them know that we weren't going anywhere, that we were there for them, and that we would be trying to, keep music coming their way while we all figured out how to get through this process.
Yeah, for sure. So Annabel, again, guys, we're speaking to Annabel Russell, the executive director of the Symphonia. If you guys want more information on Symphonia, head over to our website, symphonia.org. Annabel, one of the questions that I ask everyone, so I'm gonna ask you as well, is what are some ways that our listeners can help the Symphonia and get involved in the mission of the organization and things like that?
Well, we have a number of ways that you can get involved. We have a strong volunteer program. We have volunteer positions in probably every part of our organization, if that's what people want to do in a hands-on way. They can join, they can come in and help with our outreach programs, like at the Delray Beach Boys and Girls Club. They can get involved with helping to spread word in the community, and they can come and join us, come to our concerts, learn more about who we are, and help support us in the community.
That's awesome. Annabel, one more question before we head out is what is some advice that you'd give someone who wants to get into this line of work, either music or nonprofit or whatever it may be?
Be patient and stick with it. It's
That's good. That's great.
It's inspiring and it's life fulfilling, and it doesn't make you rich financially, but it makes you rich in so many other ways.
Right. Yeah, that's important. Sometimes people don't realize that, and that's
Right.
great. That's some great advice. Annabel, thank you so much for coming on and talking to us. Really appreciate it, guys. If you guys want to check out more on their information on their website, head over to thesymphonia.org. That's where you can find all the information on upcoming shows. And also, what was the phone number that they could call if they wanted to get tickets for the June concert?
June 13th at 2 p.m. 561-376-3848.
Perfect. Annabel, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, guys, that's going to wrap up another episode of Business Highlight. Thank you so much for joining us. If you found this episode informative and interesting, share it with your friends on social media. If you didn't, well, still share it with your friends because, why not? Also, make sure to follow us on YouTube at bocatribune.tv and on our social media, it's all at Boca Tribune. And we'll see you guys next week. Have a great weekend.